BPM praise, worship songs, inspirational Bible verses, food for souls, streamer. Like, share, subscribe.
God's goodness verse. Nahum 1-7 is a verse that brings comfort to God's people, offering a profound declaration of God's character and care in times of distress. The verse: The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in Him. Nahum 1-7 NIV. Here's a breakdown of its significance and context. Key themes and explanations. The Lord is good. This phrase emphasizes God's essential nature as good, righteous, and benevolent, even as Nahum is prophesying judgment against the Assyrians, and specifically the capital city of Nineveh. He reminds Israel of God's inherent goodness. This is especially important because it highlights the contrast between the cruelty and evil of the Assyrians and the goodness of God in the midst of impending judgment. The faithfulness and goodness of God offer hope and reassurance. A refuge in times of trouble. God is described as a refuge, a safe place, or a shelter. This is a strong image of protection in times of crisis or distress. The Assyrians were a powerful empire, and Israel had suffered greatly under their oppression. This declaration assures the faithful that, despite the political turmoil or danger, God will provide a place of safety for those who seek Him. It shows that, while God's judgment will fall upon the wicked, His people can take refuge in Him. He cares for those who trust in Him. The verse ends with a statement of God's active concern for those who put their trust in Him. This reassurance is vital because it affirms that God does not abandon His people in times of trial. Rather, He is actively engaged in their lives, providing care, support, and protection. The phrase, "those who trust in Him," emphasizes the importance of faith and reliance on God, especially when facing hardship. Context of Nahum 1-7. The book of Nahum is a prophetic book in the Old Testament that primarily addresses the fall of Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire, which had been a powerful oppressor of Israel. Nahum's prophecy came after the destruction of the northern kingdom of Israel 722 BC at the hands of the Assyrians, and it anticipates the fall of Nineveh itself, which would occur around 612 BC. While the surrounding chapters of Nahum focus on God's judgment against Nineveh, chapter 1 contains comforting truths for Judah, the southern kingdom of Israel, and emphasizes that God is in control, even when the world seems unjust or chaotic. Nahum 1-7 is a powerful reminder that God's goodness is unchanging, and His people can find security in Him, regardless of what the surrounding nations are doing. Key takeaways. God's goodness. In the midst of calamity and judgment, God's goodness remains even when God acts in judgment against the wicked. His character remains fundamentally good and just. Refuge and protection. God provides a refuge for His people. The image of a refuge speaks to the safety and security believers can find in God's care during troubled times. Trust in God. The verse calls for trust in God, especially in difficult times. Those who place their faith in Him will experience His care and protection. Theological significance. God's justice and mercy. Nahum's prophecy balances God's justice against the wicked with His mercy toward those who trust in Him. While Nineveh's destruction is a sure judgment, God's people are assured of His refuge. God as a protector. The verse underscores God's role as protector and sustainer. In times of trouble, God's people are invited to take refuge in His goodness, knowing that He watches over them. Encouragement in difficult times. For the original audience, Judah, this verse was an encouragement amid their oppression and the looming threat of the Assyrian Empire. For believers today, it remains a reminder that God cares deeply for those who place their trust in Him, even in the face of adversity. Modern application. Trust in difficult times. In moments of personal or societal turmoil, This verse encourages believers to find comfort and refuge in God's goodness, knowing He will care for them. Hope in God's unchanging nature. Regardless of circumstances, God's goodness and care are constant. Believers are invited to trust in God, who is always faithful. Summary: Nahum 1-7 is a beautiful verse that emphasizes God's goodness, His role as a refuge for His people in times of trouble, and His active care for those who trust in Him. It provides both comfort and a call to trust in the midst of difficulty. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and like for more.